In this video, we will look at how to create a discussion board for students. You would start by clicking on discussions on the left. And if you want to add a new discussion, you would just go to the plus discussion button at the top. For today, though, I'm just going to show you what it looks like from a discussion board that I've already created. So let me scroll down, click on a discussion board I've created and hit edit. So when I created this discussion board, I started by coming up with a title, and then I dropped down to the rectangular space below, and this is where I add any content I want students to see for the discussion board. So it's kind of like a little assignment, and then we get into the discussion board questions. So I just typed a little bit of information, I gave the students a challenge to do, and then the next step was I told students to discuss and just tell one thing they did well with the challenges and one thing that was tricky for them. The reason I use the word tell is because students will have an option to either type their answer or record a video of them speaking their answer. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And then the last step of this discussion is to reply to a classmate by leaving either a tip, a question, or a nice comment. This is a beginning of year discussion board, so it's kind of light and friendly right now. And then I've also embedded a video showing students how to reply to each other within the discussion board. So again, in this rectangular space is the content that students will see. And then if you scroll down, you as the teacher can see the additional details of this discussion board. So for options, one option I typically use is that the students must post an initial reply before seeing classmates' replies. And then the other thing that I sometimes do, especially at the beginning of the year, is make this a small group discussion board. If I do not click on this, all students in the class will be able to see each other's comments and reply to each other's comments. But if I make it a small group discussion board, it will be just small groups working together. I can either click on a grouping that I've created from a previous discussion board, or I can create a new group category. So let's just call this beginning of year. And I am going to just have the computer split my students into 4 groups. I'm not going to pick the groups or pick the students because I don't know them at the beginning of the year. So it's nice that the computer just kind of mixes them together itself. And then the nice thing is, after I've created this discussion board, if I create another discussion later on, I can just click down and use that exact same grouping. And then the last step is I can decide on a date range for when this discussion board will open and close. Once I'm finished, I can hit save. Now let me show you what students will see on their end. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out here before I get to the student view is that at the top of this discussion board, you will see the groups right here, beginning of year group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. And if you were to click on those, you can see the lists of students within each of those groups. All right, back to student view. So this is what students would see. They would see my content, and then they would just see a button that says reply. So students, when they click on reply, when students click on reply, they will get a blank rectangular space. They can either type information or they can decide to record a video of themselves speaking. And when they finish, then they can just hit save or post reply, and then they will immediately get to see other students' responses, and then they can hit reply to those other students' responses as well.